sky lights up over Baghdad. 3,000 anti-aircraft guns fire into the night. Hundreds of coalition aircraft took to the skies in the early hours of January the 17th, 1991. Operation Desert Storm had begun.
Our operations are designed to best protect the lives of all the coalition forces by targeting Saddam's vast military arsenal.
A few months earlier, Saddam Hussein had taken the international community by surprise when he invaded Kuwait. He now faced a coalition of 36 countries, which included many Arab states. And despite Iraqi propaganda, it turned out to be one of the most one-sided conflicts in modern history. Close to 700,000 coalition troops took part in Operation Desert Storm and dropped around 80,000 tons of bombs on Iraqi forces. Just 2 days into the war, Saddam Hussein turned his Scud missiles on Israel. He hoped to draw Israeli troops into the fight and convince Arab states to leave the coalition. It didn't work. Over the next month and a half, ground troops would fight in Iraq, Kuwait, and also Saudi Arabia. And the retreating Iraqi army would adopt a scorched earth policy, setting fire to 700 Kuwaiti oil wells. It triggered an environmental disaster that lasted for years. The turning point in the war happened here, just a few miles outside Kuwait City, which has since been dubbed the Highway of Death. Iraqi troops fled en masse in any vehicles they could find, but for coalition aircraft, they were an easy target. No one knows how many Iraqi soldiers they killed that day, but it prompted the coalition to call a ceasefire a day later. For Kuwait, it was a moment of celebration. For Iraq, it was just the beginning. US troops stopped 150 miles short of Baghdad. Saddam Hussein and his regime would survive. But the country would endure more than a decade of crippling economic sanctions. UNICEF said 500,000 children under 5 died as a result.
Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours.
And the so-called war on terror orchestrated by George Bush Jr. eventually led to another war in Iraq in 2003, this time resulting in the capture and execution of Saddam Hussein. But its impact on the political landscape in Iraq would be far more lasting. Ashraf Helmi, The Newsmakers.